A common saying in response to poverty in the United States is to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, which is precisely the reason why I used the picture of my Doc Martens, because it's often used, that phrase, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, is used as a phrase to explain why people are impoverished. It's been used that way for a very long time. And it seems like a blatant misunderstanding of how poor people are blamed for the amount of crime that is in the United States. So I'm not too sure with how familiar are people with this term ghetto bird, but for my people who grew up in the hood, such as myself, you would hear these helicopters, the police helicopters, flying all around at night looking for somebody. And these are more prevalent in poorer areas because oftentimes they're looking for someone who committed a crime, obviously. And you would hear these in the middle of the night, when you're trying to sleep. And you would hear these in the ghetto or the hood, poor areas. So I moved out of my childhood neighborhood in South LA, and I would hear these every night. And so where I moved to, I don't really hear those anymore. It's very rare, and the only reason why you really ever hear or see them is if you're looking for an elderly person or a child. There's not much quote unquote crime happening in where I'm at, so I wasn't able to take a photo of a police helicopter or the ghetto bird, as my people like to call it. So I used a pigeon that I saw on the ground as a metaphor for the helicopter, which is the ghetto bird. So I just used the pigeon as to symbolize that. And it leads back to the magnifying glass, because again, poor people, they're always being monitored, they're always being watched because of the crimes that so happen to be more reported than the crimes of the wealthy. They're always watching, always circulating above you, even on the ground and even in the air. So I chose that to represent the helicopters that the police find that fly around at night and during the day too. So I used this magnifying glass that I found around my house to as a metaphor for how closely poor people are watched in terms of crime. Ever since the early 20th, late 19th century, even though wealthy people commit crimes, society's view is on poor people because they're easier to blame. People have less sympathy for them. And you can correlate that back to pull yourself by the bootstrap slide, because richer people are viewed as earning their wealth, even though most rich people's wealth comes from generational wealth. So richer people are viewed as working harder and are viewed as better people than poor people because of their status in society. And so due to the fact that rich people or wealthier people are viewed better, it leads society to believe that poor people are poor because they've done something wrong and that they're doing something wrong with their lives, which leads to when people who are poor commit crimes, society has their eye on them more often and looks for them more often in connection to crimes.